Hey, Hare Krishna to one more session of teenage children for ISKCON from ISKCON Whitefield.
Ma'am, you are on mute.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Mataji, I have a doubt.
Okay, one second. Let us.
Mataji, this is not Harini. This is Deepika. I changed my name only now. Sorry.
All right.
I
No
say,
problem.
ma'am, Mataji.
Yes, tell me.
Ma'am, on Diwali, I got a storybooks on Balram. They are Amar Chitra Katha, Balram's tales also. I got a story of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also.
Wonderful. That's very nice. Wonderful. Wonderful. So that's a good gift for Diwali, isn't it? Okay. So without delaying further, children, let's start our class. For the first shloka of Bhagavad Gita, we are going to recite and understand and read today. Okay. So we will just do the prayers from this. After this, we will share the screen for Bhagavad Gita as it is shloka, the translation and the purport. Okay, which I will ask one of you to read. Please do not unmute in between and say I have a doubt or anything. Any doubts at the end of the class. Okay, so I will ask you.
You can type in the chat box if you have any doubts.
Yes, I will ask you. I will ask you. Okay, please do not unmute and speak in between. Okay, so thank you very much. So, Deepika, please start reading the prayers, beta. Start.
Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjanajalakaya Chakshurummilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishta Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Padantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunantanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha Shri Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Saptakantana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrindavanusute Devi Pranamani Haripriye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta-vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Okay, thank you very much, Deepika. So everybody, please take your turns in each of the classes and recite these prayers. These are invocation prayers to seek the blessings of the Guru Parampara and Radha, Shri Radha Krishna and Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, so that they may guide us, so that we may understand Bhagavad Gita and be able to apply the principles of Bhagavad Gita in our lives. Okay, children? So can we share the screen for first shloka, Prabhu, which we are going to recite today? So we can do this PPT to later. No, but we want to feel first. Okay, we can do this later, Prabhu. We'll do the, yeah, from the Veda base, if we can share the screen for Veda base BG 1.1.
Mataji, I know the first sloka.
Yes, that's very nice. That's very nice. So, Prabhu, if you can just stop the share.
Well, they just shared the first.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah.
Are you able to see?
Okay. Yes, yes, thank you. So, okay, I want now, who is Krutagnya? Krutagnya is there. Krutagnya, would you like to recite the first shloka? See,
No,
you all have
ma'am. Just
No,
I'm
okay.
having a doubt.
Afterwards, all doubts in the end. Okay, now, who can recite this shloka? Omkar, can you recite the shloka?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, thank you very much.
Dhritarashtra uvacha dharmakshetre kurukshetre samaveta mamakaha pandavaschaiva kimm akurvat Sanjaya.
Wonderful. Let's go to the translation. Anvita, please unmute yourself and read the translation, please. Anvita, are you there?
Yes,
See, this
Mataji. Hare
Yes.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna, yes.
Translation. Hare Krishna. Dhritarashtra said, O Sanjaya, after my sons and the sons of Pandu assembled in the place of pilgrimage at Kurukshetra, desiring to fight, what did they do?
Thank you very much, Anvita. So, children, this is the scene when the war has not yet begun, and there are Pandavas on this side and Kauravas on this side. And the Pandavas have an army which is equivalent to 7 akshonis. 7 akshonis. Akshoni is a count of the soldiers and the elephants and the entire army. That is 7 in number. And here it is 11. So it is 4 times more. It is number more, not 4 times more. Sorry, it is 4 more than the Pandavas. So definitely Kauravas had a bigger army than the Pandavas. Let's read the purport. Now here, Dhritarashtra, as you know, was blind. And he had a minister called Sanjaya, who was a student of Vyasadeva. And Vyasadeva is the compiler of all the Vedas. And he also wrote the Mahabharata as part of it. So he is basically, Sanjaya is the student of Vyasadeva, and Vyasadeva had given Sanjaya special eyes so that sitting in the house or sitting in the palace, he could see what is happening in the battlefield. So here the first shloka of Bhagavad Gita starts with Dhritarashtra. Who is Dhritarashtra? Dhritarashtra is the father of the Kauravas, of Duryodhan and party. Okay, 100 Kauravas. So he's asking this question to Sanjaya, that my sons and the sons of Pandu desiring to fight, what did they do? Now let's read the purport. Okay, I would like Enakshi to unmute and read the purport. When I say stop, maybe you can stop, children. Okay, Enakshi is there? Yeah. Enakshi, can you try? Can you start reading the purport? Prabhu, you can, after every 3-4 lines, you can put a stop. Yes. Enakshi, can you read until the blue mark? Okay. Children, let's be interactive. Let's open up. And it's just reading. I'm not going to ask questions, you know.
Mataji, can I
And
read?
Okay,
Mataji,
Saket.
is it okay if I can read?
Yeah, okay. Who is that next? After Saket, Vrinda, be ready. Okay, Saket, start.
Bhagavad Gita is a widely read theistic scene summarized by Gita Mahatmya, glorification of the Gita. There it says one should read the Bhagavad Gita very scrutinizingly with the help of a person who is a devotee of Sri Krishna and try to understand it without personally motivated interpretations. The example of clear understanding is there in the Bhagavad Gita itself, in the way that teaching is understood by Arjuna, who heard the Gita directly from the Lord. If
Thank
someone
you.
is fortunate,
Thank you. Thank you. That's it. Until the blue mark. Okay. Good. Vrinda.
If someone is fortunate enough to understand the Bhagavad Gita in that line of
Disciplic.
disciplic succession without motivated interpretation, then he surpasses all studies of Vedic wisdom and all scriptures of the world. One will find in the Bhagavad Gita all that is contained in other scriptures, but the reader will also find things which are not to be found elsewhere. That is specific standard of the Gita. It is a perfect theistic science because it is directly spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Okay, Jaydev, can you read the next? Jaydev? Jaydev and Laksh be ready next. Jaydev, can you unmute yourself? Yes? Or Laksha can go ahead. Children, just feel free to read up. Children, it is going to be, yeah, Laksha. Okay, Laksha. Okay, yes.
The
Yes,
topic
Laksha, start.
described by
Dhritarashtra.
Dhritarashtra and Sanjaya as described in the Mahabharata. From the basic principle for this great philosophy, it is understood that the philosophy evolved on the battlefield of
Kurukshetra.
Kurukshetra, which is
A
a
sacred place.
scared place of pilgrimage.
Okay, that's it. Thank you very much. Thank you, Laksha. What is your age, Laksha?
8.
Okay, you're supposed to be in tomorrow's class, but anyways, you read well, but that's okay. Okay, fine, no worries. Everyone is welcome, but mostly it's for 11 plus. So that's all right for today. Okay, next, who will read next? Kabir Kurtagna, Manish. Manish is there. Manish, can you unmute and read, please? Are you there, Manish? Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Yes. From where should I read?
Yes, I think he left it there. Yeah, blue. Prabhu, just mark in blue where he left. Maybe you can start the topics discussed by Dhritarashtra and Sanjay. You can start from the beginning. Yeah, yes.
The topics discussed by Dhritarashtra and Sanjaya as described in the Mahabharata form the basic principle for this great philosophy. It is understood that this philosophy evolved on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, which is a sacred place of pilgrimage from the immemorial time of the Vedic age. It was spoken by the Lord when he was present personally on this planet for the guidance of mankind.
Thank you very much. Children, just for our understanding, can you please write your age before your name on the screen? Just write your age before your name. Okay, Oshin, next. Oshin, can you read the next paragraph?
The word Dharma from there only, right?
Yes, yes.
The word Dharma Kshetra, a place where religious rituals are performed, is significant because on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, the Supreme Personality of Godhead was present on the side of Arjuna.
Dhritarashtra,
the father of Kurus, the highly doubtful about the personality of his sons, the ultimate victory. In his doubt, he inquired from his secretary Sanjaya, what did they do? He was confident that both his sons and the sons of his younger brother Pandu were assembled in that field of Kurukshetra for a determined engagement of the war.
Wonderful. Okay, Naga Akshit. Thank you, Hare Krishna, Oshin. Very well read. Naga Akshit, can you read? Yeah.
Still, his inquiry is significant. He did not want a compromise between the cousins and brothers. and he wanted to be sure of the fate of his son on the battlefield, because the battle was arranged to be fought at Kurukshetra, which is mentioned elsewhere in the Vedas as a place of worship, even for the ensigns of heaven. Dhritarashtra became very fearful about the influence of the holy place on the outcome of the battle.
Wonderful. Okay. Now, who is there next? Pranav can read. Yeah, Pranav. All of you, please please write your age after your name. Pranav is there. Pranav Deepak. Okay. Prerit. Prerit Kadammati. Prerit, can you read ahead?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
He knew very well that this would influence Arjuna, that the sons of Pandu, probably because by the nature they were all victorious. Sanjaya was the
Virtuous.
student. Virtuous. Sanjaya was the student of Vivasya, and before, by the mercy of Vivasya,
Vyasa.
Sanjaya was able to envision the battlefield of Kurukshetra even while he was in the room. Dhritarashtra and so
Dhritarashtra
asked him about the situation on the battlefield.
Wonderful. So children, very, very attentively hear this because we are going to discuss on this. Okay. Next, I would like to ask Saket. Yes, Saket to read Saket and then Shravani.
Mataji, I already got my chance.
Oh, you got a chance. Okay. Shravani and Tarunya. Yeah. Shravani can read. Yes, Shravani. Oh, we can't hear you, beta. We can't hear you. Shravani. Shravani, are you speaking? Yeah, we can't hear you. No. Very, very, very little, very feeble. Can you can you come closer to the device? Is everyone else able to hear her or is it only me?
No, Mataji.
No, Mataji, we can't.
Okay.
I'm not able to hear.
Okay, fine. Shravani, can you just check how you can remove? Yes, now speak. Okay, can Tarunya read? Then we can ask Shravani to join back again after.
Can't read it.
Okay, fine. Okay. So who else would like to read? Krutagnya?
Mataji, can I read, but I've got a chance.
Okay. Krutagnya, do you want to read?
No, thanks.
Okay. All right. Okay, fine. We'll repeat. Laksh wants to read. Laksha.
Mataji, can I do after lunch?
Yeah, you do after Laksh. Okay, Laksh. Start. Would you like to read? No, okay. Let Anvita read, and then after Anvita, Deepika, you can read. Start, Anvita.
Okay, Mataji.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna. The Pandavas and the sons of Dhritarashtra belong to the same family, but Dhritarashtra's mind is dissolved herein. He deliberately claimed only his sons as Kurus, and he separated the sons of Pandu from the family heritage. One can thus understand the specific position of Dhritarashtra in his relationship with his nephews and sons of Pandu.
Wonderful. That's it. Thank you. Next. Deepika.
Okay, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
In the paddy fields, the unnecessary plants are taken out, so it is expected from the very beginning of these topics that in the religious field of Kurukshetra, where the father of religion, Sri Krishna, was present, the unwanted plants like Dhritarashtra's son, Duryodhana, and others would be wiped out, and the thoroughly religious persons headed by Yudhishthira would be established by the Lord. This is the significance of the word Dharma, Kshetre and Kurukshetre apart from their historical and Vedic importance.
One. Hare Krishna. Wonderful. Okay, children. Now, all of you have read through the purport and the translation. Now, I want to pose one question to all of you. Now, what is your understanding of this shloka, the very first shloka from the purport, starting from the first paragraph? Okay, or at least let us start with the translation. Dhritarashtra said, O Sanjaya, after my sons and the sons of Pandu assembled in the place of pilgrimage. He's saying place of pilgrimage. He's not saying in the war field. At Kurukshetra, desiring to fight, what did they do? And then the first paragraph of the purport. Quickly take around 30 seconds and one by one, I will ask you to unmute. Please raise your hands if you, whichever point has struck you, from the purport. Please let me know what are the points, takeaway points. Okay, one point.
What is the meaning of purport?
Purport is an explanation of the shlokas. Yeah.
And that
1 second. Okay, I don't want you to speak like this. No, children. Raise your hands and I will ask you to unmute. Okay, please raise your hand.
I did not understand the translation. I didn't understand what does he mean by what did they do.
So here Dhritarashtra, who is sitting in his palace, right? He wants to know what is happening in the battlefield. So he is asking his minister Sanjay, and Sanjay is actually, he can see something like a CCTV, right? We put it in the house, and whatever happens in the house, we can see outside through our phone, right? So Sanjay is like that CCTV, right? He can, sitting in the palace, he could see what was happening in the battlefield, and whatever he could see, he was explaining to Dhritarashtra, who was blind. Understood? Did you understand?
Yes, Mataji, but
this is fluffy. This means
desiring to fight, what did they do? What does that line mean?
So the Pandavas and the Kauravas were in the battlefield. The Kauravas are the sons of Dhritarashtra, right? They were going to fight with Pandavas, their own cousins. Means they were desiring to fight, right? They had gone to the battlefield to fight. Desiring means they wanted to fight. What did they do? Has the battle started? Not started? What is happening on the battlefield? That is what Dhritarashtra wanted to know. Okay? Right? Understood, Pida?
Yes, Mataji.
Who is that? Saket. Now, who was that?
Mataji, Saket.
Saket only. Okay, sir.
I didn't understand what did he mean by what did they do. Now I understood.
Now you understood. Wonderful. Okay, now I will ask Vrinda to unmute. Okay, Vrinda, unmute and tell me what did you like about this shloka and what is your takeaway?
Mataji, I raised my hand because I wanted to ask, what did you tell us to do?
You have to, like we read the purport, right? So from the purport, I want you to pick up one point that you find very, very striking about this shloka. What do you understand from the shloka about the mentality? Or say the first, for example, let me help you. The first paragraph says that you should always read the Bhagavad Gita from hearing it from the devotee of Krishna, a pure devotee of Krishna. And who is a pure devotee of Krishna here? Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada has written this Bhagavad Gita as it is. And you should never read any other Bhagavad Gita by any other commentators, because that will mislead you, because they have their own principles in it. Okay? Here, why this Bhagavad Gita is called as it is? Because it is as it is spoken by Sri Krishna, the speaker of Bhagavad Gita. Okay?
How do we know it is exactly the same? Like, how did they write it down?
Exactly. That comes in the Guru Parampara. Right? That is what? That is the next point. And if someone is fortunate enough to understand the Bhagavad Gita in that line of disciplic succession, Disciplic succession means from Krishna to Brahmaji to Narada to Vyasadeva and so on, coming to Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur and Srila Prabhupada. Then Prabhupada has narrated it to us, right? So this is the disciplic succession, right? Okay. So Kritagnya, I think Deepika wants to say something. Yes, Deepika. What is your takeaway?
I have a doubt. Not
Tell me.
Mataji, what do you mean by tea-stick and scrutinizingly?
What is that?
Mataji, in the second line, besides Bhagavad Gita.
Oh, scrutinizingly. Scrutinizingly means you have to think, you have to understand, just not read it, right? You have to think, understand, and try to think what is the intention of Dhritarashtra when he asked this question to Sanjaya. Isn't it a very apparent question? Suppose if you're sitting on a dining table and the food or the prasadam is laid down, naturally, will somebody ask you a question like, oh, what are you doing now? Of course, I'm sitting on the dining table. I'm waiting for the this thing to come. I'm there with the food on the table laid down. I'm going to eat. But here Dhritarashtra knew that yes, the Pandavas and Kauravas are at the battlefield and they will definitely fight. But still, he asked, what did they do? So why is he asking? Why is he anxious? Why is there so much anxiety in him? Okay? Okay, Kritagnya.
Mataji, also, what is the meaning of tea-stick?
What is that?
T-I-S-T-I-C.
Where is that? Which line?
On first line, theistic signs.
Oh, what are atheists? What are atheists, children?
Mataji, the people who don't believe in God.
Yeah, so who are the theistic then?
The people
Opposite.
who believe.
Absolutely. So the science of God. Okay? Theistic science of God. Okay?
Okay, Mataji, thank you.
Yes. Okay, Kritagna, you wanted to say something? Yeah.
How can Krishna die?
Oh, we are not discussing this now. Only from this shloka. Krishna does not die. He appears and he disappears, children. Okay? So, Sona, my class is on, please.
In one of my friends, one friend told me that Krishna died.
What is that?
In one of my friends, Krishna died. In one of my
No, nothing like that. No, Krishna appears and Krishna disappears. Okay, children? Krishna appears and Krishna disappears. Okay, children? So that is a different topic. We'll discuss sometime later. Okay. So who else? Anybody else wants to say? Let us first. I think I'll share the PPT. You'll have a clearer picture, children. Okay. All of you seem to have a lot of doubts. So let me share the PPT. Probably, can we please share the PPT? Yeah. Okay.
Mataji, how did Lord Krishna tell the whole Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna in the middle of a battle?
Yeah, so that is the whole thing. That is what we are going to learn, isn't it? That is where, because Arjuna did not want to fight. He kept away his bow and arrow. He didn't want to fight at all. Krishna is saying, what are you doing, Arjuna? Suppose you go to the examination hall. Nowadays, you're doing online classes. But suppose if you have board exams. One second. Can I finish, Saket? Can I finish speaking? So, suppose if you go to the examination hall and with all your papers, pens, and a writing board and your ID card and everything, and you go inside and you tell your teacher, I don't want to write the exam. Your teacher is definitely going to counsel you, right? Your teacher is going to say, oh, okay, Saket, don't worry. Whatever you remember, you write. Whatever you have learned, doesn't matter if you cannot complete the paper, right? So, but you at least attempt. If you don't attempt, then you will fail, isn't it? So that is what Krishna is going to tell Arjuna in the middle of the battlefield. Okay. So now,
but won't anyone attack them?
No. The battle only starts after the conch shell is blown. There are certain rules of the battlefield. The battle will not just like that. It will not start. Right, children? There are certain rules. When Bhishma Pitama blew his conch shell, and when all the Pandavas blew his conch shell from both the sides, there is Shankhanad, means the Shankha is blown loudly. That means ready, get, set, go. That means the battle is going to start. Okay, so both the teams, they say, okay, we are ready. This team also says, okay, we are ready, by blowing their respective conch shells. Okay, Saket?
Okay, Mataji.
Okay, see now what are these? This Dhritarashtra asked Sanjay these questions, right? He asked that, what are my sons and the sons of Pandu desiring to fight? What did they do? Similarly, children, we also have many questions in life, isn't it? We do have, right? We do have many questions. Oh, what will I become when I grow up? Oh, will I be a successful person? Oh, why do my parents scold so much? Oh, why do my parents tell me not to do this, not to do that? Right? We do have a lot of questions. So similarly, Dhritarashtra also had these questions, and he was asking to Sanjay. And sometimes we refrain from asking questions to our parents, means we don't ask questions. But children, the more we communicate with our parents, the better it is for us, especially when you are in your pre-teens and in your 11, 12, 13 years of age. You kind of get into a shell, right? You form a shell around you, and you really don't want to discuss any of your problems, because you feel that everybody is looking at you and the entire spotlight is at you. But it is not so, children. And you also feel that everybody is trying to find faults with you. No, children, it's not that. This is an age which is very, very delicate, where you need the support and guidance of your parents. Of course, you have friends, but your friends are also of the same age group, isn't it? Right? They have limited knowledge, limited intelligence, limited understanding. Your best friends at this age can be your parents. So please go and talk to your parents about anything and everything, so that you can stay away from a lot of mistakes that teenagers and children commit. Right? Let's go to the next slide, what it says. Okay, so Krishna says, Srila Prabhupada says in the purport, in the first paragraph itself, that do not read other commentaries, right? In fact, read the Bhagavad Gita as it is only. Now, Saket was asking me, where did it come from? Who wrote it and how? Things like that. So it comes in the disciplic succession. So now we have this picture in our altar of the Shad Goswamis, or the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan, who were sent by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Who is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna and Radha together. Krishna and Radha together appeared in Navadvipa, West Bengal, only 535 years ago. And he instructed these 6 Goswamis. These 6 Goswamis, children, were actually from a very, very rich family background. They were very, very opulent, but in search of truth, in search of who is God. On the instructions of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they went to Vrindavan and they excavated Vrindavan. At that time, Vrindavan was invaded by the Mughals and the Muslim kings. Right, children? So they had destroyed all the deities, all the temples and all the scriptures. They had burnt half of them. But whatever were remaining, they were buried under the ground of Vrindavan. So these Goswamis went to Vrindavan and they dug the earth, and they found some deities of Radha and Krishna, and then they found some books and scriptures. So they would put them in the middle in a temple, in Radha Damodar temple in Vrindavan. In today's date, if you go to Vrindavan, there is a temple known as Radha Damodar temple. All these 6 Goswamis, 535 years ago, would keep all the scriptures in the center, read them and rewrite them. Right? They would understand these scriptures. And that is how we are able to read so much Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. And then it was passed on to Jagannath Das Babaji, and then to Bhakti Vinod Thakur, and then to Gaura Kishore Das Babaji. And then to Bhakti Siddhant Saraswati Thakur, who is the spiritual master of Srila Prabhupada, and then to Srila Prabhupada. And now we are reading the Bhagavad Gita as it is by Srila Prabhupada. Of course, Srila Prabhupada also initiated so many gurus. He initiated so many devotees and made them gurus. Like we have His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj, His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj, His Holiness Lokanath Swami Maharaj, His Holiness Bhakti Vijnana Goswami Maharaj. So we have so many gurus in ISKCON from whom we take Diksha or initiation. Right? So Guru, this is how it comes in Guru Parampara, disciplic succession. If you can try to memorize the names of these gurus, it'll be really nice. Okay, let's go to the next slide. So why now this was performed, this battle was going to take place in Kurukshetra. So and it is Kurukshetra was also called as Dharma Kshetra. So when Dhritarashtra asks Sanjay, he does not say what did they do in Kurukshetra. The entire shloka starts from Bhagavad Gita, in fact starts from Dharma Kshetre Kurukshetre. So what does Dharma mean? Dharma means religion. And nothing like, and it doesn't mean Dharma doesn't mean Hindu, Muslim, Christian. No, there was nothing like Hindu, Muslim, Christian that existed at that time, right? The entire society was divided into varnas and ashramas, which is brahmanas, vaishyas, kshatriyas, and shudras, right? And the life of
Castes.
Yes, these are the this is the caste, but this was according to the occupational duties of people, not according to the caste system, right?
Mataji,
Yes.
in the beginning, actually, it was based on occupation, but in the later Vedic age, it became into castes, and there was discrimination based on that.
Exactly. So when people say that, oh no, we are not Hindus, we don't want to read Bhagavad Gita, you can tell them that when Bhagavad Gita was narrated, nothing like Hindu, Muslim, Christian ever existed. The entire society was divided into Brahmana, Vaishya, Kshatriya, and Shudra. And the life of a person was considered to be 100 years, and it was divided into 4 ashramas, right? So it is also said that according to Vaman Puran, why this place was known as Dharma Kshetra? Because according to Vaman Purana, King Kuru, who was the father of the Pandavas, of the Kauravas, and the grandfather of the Pandavas and Kauravas, he chose a land at the banks of Saraswati River for embedding spirituality with 8 virtues or 8 goals, which is austerity, truth, forgiveness, kindness, purity, charity, devotion, and conduct, which is tapas, satya, daya, dana, yagna, brahmacharya, and dana, daya, and brahmacharya. Lord Vishnu was impressed with the acts of King Kuru and blessed him with 2 boons. First, that this land, Kurukshetra or Dharma Kshetra, this land will forever be known as holy land after his name, which is Kurukshetra, the land of the Kurus. Second, that anyone dying on this land will go to heaven. So whoever died in the battle of Kurukshetra went to heaven. Okay, children? So King Kuru performed this sacrifice. That is why this land was known as Dharma Kshetra. And Dhritarashtra very well knew that his sons were not pious, and the Pandavas were very pious. And he knew that on this land, which is called Dharma Kshetra, where the King Kuru had performed so many austerities, only and only the righteous can win, right? So he was very, very anxious. He was very, very scared also inside, Dhritarashtra, because he knew that Duryodhana is, not correct. Duryodhana is not a pious person. He makes many mistakes. He speaks lies. He's a diplomatic person. He does not follow the principles of Dharma. Okay, so let's see what the next slide says. So why he asked this question? Because He did not want his sons and Pandavas to compromise. So since Dhritarashtra knew that, Pandavas were very, very pious, so he did not want that, Pandavas or his sons to compromise. Okay, fine, let's compromise, let's shake hands, let's not fight, and, let us, give half the land to you. He did not. And he was fearful of this holy place, which we just discussed. Okay. Let's go to the next one. Let's go to the next slide, Prabhu. Yeah. So we can, Now, also, Dhritarashtra knew that just like from a field of paddy, children, any field of paddy or rice or whatever you may say, just like, what happens is when the main crop grows, there are small unwanted plants also that come up, and they take up the nutrition from the soil and they start growing. So the nutrition which should go to the main crop or the paddy or rice, that gets divided with the unwanted creeper or the unwanted weeds, right? You must have heard in science that these weeds should be removed, right? So these weeds, whenever they have to be removed by the farmers, otherwise the main crop does not get the nutrition. So he knew that just like from a field of paddy, the unwanted weeds are removed, similarly his children were those unwanted weeds. He knew it, and they would be removed, wiped out, killed, washed out by the Pandavas, because Pandavas were the righteous people who were, on the side of Dharma. Right, children? So this is the explanation of the first shloka. Now, I request all of you, children, to memorize the shloka. Prabhu, can we go to the shloka, go back to the shloka? So if we can, memorize this first shloka, right? We have around 5-7 minutes. I will ask one of you to, any doubts first, children? Any doubts? Yeah, Anvita. Anvita has a doubt. Okay, please raise your hands. Don't unmute yourself. Please raise your hands. Yeah. Yes, Anvita.
Mataji, not doubt, Mataji, but I want to read the shloka.
Oh, yes. Okay, fine. We'll do that. Deepika, you have a doubt?
Mataji, I already by hearted it long ago. My mother taught me.
Very nice. That's very nice. Okay. Some of you may know the shloka. Kabir, you want to say anything?
Ma'am, I just want to give a try in the shloka.
Okay, wonderful. Why not? Okay. So let's go back.
Is there a free version of the book?
That you can go to Vedabase. I will type it in the chat box. Okay, but children, all those who do not have this book, please order it from gogita.in. Can we type it, Prabhu, for the convenience of our children, so that
Ma'am, my mother has. Does she also go to Bhagavad Gita classes?
Okay, wonderful.
Yes. We have to buy it.
Yes, you have to buy. That will be a nice gift for yourself, and you can also donate to others. Okay. So, okay, let's go to the shloka, Prabhu. Can we unshare the PPT and go to the shloka?
Mataji, you want to see the shloka, is it?
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, Anvita, can you repeat after me, please? Dhritarashtra uvacha.
Dhritarashtra uvacha.
Dharma kshetre kurukshetre.
Dharma kshetre kurukshetre.
Samaveta yuyutsavaha. Mamakah pandavaschaiva. Only Anvita.
Mamakah pandavaschaiva.
Kim akurvata Sanjaya.
Kim akurvata Sanjaya.
Wonderfully recited. Wonderfully. Just read it 2-3 times every day. You will memorize. First 2 lines pick up in first 3 or 4 days, or maybe one line you pick up and keep saying that one line in one day. or 2 days, until unless you don't memorize it. Then the next 3 lines you can pick up in another week or so. Okay, Kabir, repeat after me, please. Dhritarashtra uvacha
Dhritarashtra uvacha
dharmakshetre kurukshetre
Dhammakshetre Kurukshetre
samaveta
Ramatetraya Yuksavaha
samaveta.
Dhammaveta
No, samaveta.
Samaveta
Yuyutsavaha
Samayeta Yuksavaha
Mamakaha Pandavaschaiva.
Ma'am, can you repeat?
Mamakaha
Mamakaha
Pandava.
Pandavashta Kaveya.
No, Chaiva. That C means cha. Okay, that C is Chaiva. Chaiva. Okay, whenever there is a C, you will pronounce it as cha. Chaiva. It's not Kaiva, it's Chaiva. Okay, Kabir?
Chaiva.
Yes. And whenever there is a dash over A, you will pronounce it as A, not A. So, Mama Kaha.
Mama Kaha.
Yeah, read the next one. Pandavas. Pandavash.
Pandavash.
Chaiva.
Chaiva.
Wonderful. Kim akurvata Sanjaya.
Kim akurva Sanjaya.
Wonderful. Thank you. Who else wants to do? Shravani. Yes, Shravani.
Ma'am, actually I've learned this shloka, ma'am. So can I recite?
Yes, recite.
Okay, ma'am. Hare Krishna. Dhritarashtra uvacha Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre Samaveta Yutsavaha Mamakam Pandavaschaiva
Mamakaha.
Mamakaha Pandavaschaiva Kim Akurvata Sanjaya.
Good, good.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay. Saket. Yes, Saket.
Dhritarashtra uvacha Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre Samaveta Yuyutsavaha Mamaka Pandavaschaiva Kimakurvata Sanjaya.
Wonderful. Okay, Laksh. Laksh, do you want to read? Okay, Manish. Manish is there. Manish is just about left. Okay, children. Anyone else wants to read before we end the class? But by next. Yes. Who is that?
Deepika.
Deepika, you have read it in the beginning. So let's give a chance to someone else. Okay. Naga, Akshit. Akshit, do you want to read it?
Yes, teacher.
Yeah, one more person. Yes.
Dharmakshetre
Dhritarashtra uvacha.
Dhritarashtra uvacha Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre Samaveta Yutsava Mamaka Pandavakshaiva Kimna Kuruvata Sanjaya.
Wonderful. Thank you. All right. Thank you very much, children, for your wonderful participation. And now onwards, the class is going to be like this. It is going to be an interactive class where all of you will speak and let us know what you understood from a particular shloka. Okay. So yes.
Mataji, can you post the shloka in the...
I'll post the shloka, yes. Thank you very much. Let's chant Hare Krishna, Krishna
Krishna,
Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Please keep your chanting beads ready. We will chant one round also next time. All right?
Yes.
Bye, Mataji. Happy
Thank you,
Diwali.
Mataji. Happy Diwali. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.